But happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mother-in-law. Happy Mother's Day to my aunts and my spiritual mothers and grandmothers out there in the world. I truly would not be who I am today without you. I thank God for your presence in my life and your influence in my life. And yes, I'm truly grateful. If you're celebrating Mother Day, feel free to put it in the comments. Send some love out to them. I pray for and thank God for all those today who are even here today without their mothers. I'm praying for you today and praying for you and for your family and all those other situations. There's so many different kinds of mothers in the world. They're all beautiful in their own right, and just grateful and want to thank God for you today. And I hope you feel celebrated and loved and appreciated today. So hello. I'm full. I hope to not be before you long this morning, but I do have something to share, and I'm really excited about it. Just to share this with all of you. Yes, it's a Mother's Day. But I pray right now before we get started that the Lord would just allow this word to come forth the way he wants it to, and that it would enter the hearts and impact the hearts and the ears of those who need to hear it. Again, it's Mother's Day, but I pray that this blesses all of those who hear it this morning, who hear this message. So yes, let's get started. Again, I don't want to keep you long. I'm sure you have plans today and things going on. But yes, I would love to share with you. So without further ado, let me share. And Lord, just have your way. Holy Spirit, this is your time. Have your way. In Jesus' name, amen. So yes, I'm coming out. You're coming out. The birth of that baby is coming out. It's coming out. I want you to hear that this morning. You are coming out. Wow, there's a lot that a birth entails, the birth of a baby, whether it's figuratively or spiritually speaking. There's a lot that the birth entails. But I feel like the Father wanted to remind us of this morning is that the birth of you listening, does not end. It does not stop with the birth of the baby. It does not stop with the birth of the baby. The birth of you and who you are does not stop with the birth of the baby, but even more so, it's just getting started. There's so much that happens in, the 9 months of carrying a literal baby, the growth and the development, all the different things that are happening and changing with you and your body as the baby grows and develops in your womb. And it's at that birthing place, at the birth of that baby that, wow, you've been waiting all this time and you don't know how it's going to be or what's going to happen. But that birth of the baby happens, and it is something unimaginable, something that is hard to put words to and hard to explain. But it's your experience, each and every one of you who have experienced it before. It's your unique experience birthing your baby. I thank God for my babies and who they are and just the gift that I get to be their mother. It's a gift. But at the birth of them, the birth of you doesn't stop there. You see, mothers, we were created to be life givers, not life takers. If we think about Eve from the very beginning and we go back to Eve, her name even means mother of all living things, or they called her that. And her name meant life, life-giving, full of life, mother of life. And many of us know how that story began, and we also know how it ends. So Adam and Eve, they were created by God to take care of his creation, to populate the earth, and to have relationship with him. And we know in the initial scriptures that how Eve was presented as this beautiful and this wise and this lovely helpmate that God had made for Adam. And we know how the story ends, that after they were given everything that they needed, and they were given their marching orders, that a fall happened as they took of the forbidden fruit, and there was the fall, not just of them, but the fall of man. But how many of you know that there was still this lineage that took place, that throughout that came the ultimate life giver, Jesus Christ? And so at the birth of you does not stop at the birth. It does not stop at the birth. I want to share a quick story with you. 13 years ago, after Josiah was born, our second child together, our fourth overall, Jason and I, our son Josiah, who's now 13 years old, I remember going back to work about 6 or 7 weeks after his birth, and it did not take long for me and for Jason, for both of us to realize that this second child stuff, this is a little bit different here. It was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. And as we begin to look at all the details and look at, the finances, everything, we both came to a determination that it was a better choice for me to come home at this time and to resign from my position at work. But I will share this with you. I've been at the same workplace for it's coming up on 20 years. How has that been continuous? When I printed, and took in my resignation letter to my workplace. And I remember walking into the office, and I was so grateful and gracious. I loved where I worked. It wasn't the workplace. It was just this call of, now I'm a mother of 2 in home full time and 4 overall, that, oh my goodness, this is a lot. And I'm making the choice to lay this down, to take this up, because this is what we feel like is best for our family right now. But do you know, I walked out of that office. With being able to, not only did they not accept my resignation, but I walked out of it with a plan that would just create more balance for us and our family, and even in our finances, for me to be able to do both. Be the mother that I was called to be, but also keep my job. And I felt like that was an Isaac moment for me. I was willing to lay it all down and lay it aside. I was willing to lay it all down and lay it aside, but it was just, God said, no. See, yes, I've called you to be a mother. Yes, you're a mother. You stepped into this, you've given birth. But the birth of you and who you are and who I created to be, I am not finished. I am not ready to close this chapter just because this chapter has begun. And so the birth of you does not end with the birth of the baby. You are coming out. The baby has come out, but you are still coming out. You are still in the process of him creating and you becoming who he's created you to be, and not even becoming, y'all. Because see, you already are. You already are. And yes, there's a process of you coming out to be. But I don't even like saying becoming, because you already are in the birth. Yes, he's still doing things, and he's still cultivating things, and he's still maturing you and growing you and teaching you and showing you different facets of who you are and who he is and how that works in the midst of his character and his love for you and being lavished upon you as his son, as his daughter. But the birth of you does not stop there. It does not stop there. And I am convinced in this season that, oh my goodness, he's raising up a remnant of Deborahs, of mothers who may not necessarily have their own children at this stage and this age and this point of their lives, but he's raising up a remnant of Deborahs who, we know Deborah, that she was the mother of Israel. You see, she had a mother's heart for a nation. She had the mother's heart for a legacy. She had the mother's heart, and Israel was in need of mothering. Our world is in need of mothering. And he's raising up a remnant of mothers of all ages, in all stages of life, because there's a cry from the earth coming from our babies and from this generation that's coming up. And there's a cry coming from our wombs, those who are even barren and who are without, literally without babies, but they appear to be barren, but they're so full of so much that the Father has placed inside of you. And there's a cry coming from both ends. And it's a cry that resonates with each other. And it's a cry from these young ones that are coming up, and from our schools, and from the places that we frequent, and from our communities. There's a cry that is waiting to encounter and connect with the cry that's coming from our wombs, mothers. These mothers that he's raising up with a mother's heart for his children, for these babies who are struggling, who are crying out, who do not know how deeply loved they are. They're crying out for attention. They're crying out for that feeling of being loved, and for being accepted, and for being enough and worthy. And they're crying out, and they're waiting. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for your mother's heart to connect with theirs, for what the Father has placed inside of you that is the very thing that they need, in the way that they even need it. Lavished upon them, presented to them, told to them. Because see, you are you, and you're only you. There's no other you. God has uniquely designed and fashioned you before you were even substance in your mother's womb. The way that you will do it, the way that you will deliver, the way that you will love, the way that you will let them know that, oh my gosh, you are enough. You are already accepted. You're already fully known, fully loved, no matter what you've done, what you're doing right now, where you're living. Only you can tell them the way that they need to hear it. And so you're coming out. You're coming out. You're coming out of hiding. You're coming out of the nest, out of the comfortable places that you've rested for so long, that you're coming out. And not only are you coming out, but the Father is calling you out. He's calling you out. He's calling you to arise. He's calling you to arise and to take your place as a mother, with your mother's heart, and with all those good and rich and powerful, valuable things that he's placed inside of you, to release into the earth, to release, to give birth to. Because see, at the birth of the baby, the birth of you does not stop. There was a lie that I've had to deal with continuously since becoming a mother myself, a lie, whether it was my own internal doubts and fears, or it was from the lie from the pit of hell telling me that, you know what, you can't be a mother and be the mother in the calling and step into the things that God has called you to do. It was a constant battle, and even sometimes still today. Because being a mother, y'all, it's hard. It's a lot. It's one of the greatest gifts. And oh my goodness, I am so truly grateful. And I'm humbled by the fact that he would allow me to be the mother of my babies. But it's no easy task. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, and it can feel like you can't do anything else. But I'm here today to let you know and to remind you that you can. And that not only can you, but there's a generation, there's a cry that needs you to be so. That needs you to step and let it out, to give birth to the baby, to give birth to the destiny, to the dream that's within inside of you. There's so many of us as mothers. And again, there's a stage and there's a timing. God's timing is perfect. And I'm not sitting here saying that sometimes he won't shift things around as you do give birth, and that some things need to be scaled back for a certain amount of time or scaled forward and moved around and repositioned. Oh, he's so good at doing that. He specializes in doing that. And when we invite him into that process, nothing has to lack. There can be balance. And it might need to be recalibrated over time and do different seasons and through different seasons and through different stages. Oh, but he'll do it if we allow him. If we invite him into the very space that he's put us into, and not try to do it within our own strength and within our own understanding. But it is possible. And not only is it possible, but as I said, it's necessary, y'all. There's a cry coming from the land. And there's a cry coming from your womb, the things that he's placed inside of you, and they need to connect. They're seeking out after each other, and we don't even know it. Oh, but we'll know it at the point that they do connect with each other. It'll be so apparent. It'll be so apparent to us. Because there's been this awaiting, this time, and yes, there's process and there's preparation, but his timing is perfect, and I believe that he is calling for it. So many who have the mother's heart for this land, for our world, for this generation that's coming up. You have a mother's heart for a legacy that's already been laid out, a mother's cry. For those who are coming out, who are waiting for what he's placed inside of you. You're coming out. He's calling you out. He's calling you forth. He's calling you to arise. I'm reminded of when Lazarus was dead and the Marys were waiting. They were called, Jesus, where are you? Come, he's dead. He's dying. And Jesus simply showed up, y'all. Lazarus had been dead for days and he was smelling like death and he was done. And Jesus simply said, come forth. Come forth. I believe he's calling you out like that, where some things have been lying dormant and they appear to be dead, and he's calling them forth in such a way that it's hard to ignore it. It's undeniable. You feel it so strongly. He's calling you out. You're coming out. You're coming forth. And there's some of you have even already given birth. And you've even stepped into the position, into the place as a mother of nations, a mother of many. And he's calling you out even more. He said, I'm not done. There's even more. I'm not done with you yet. And it may feel like a lot, and it may feel overwhelming, and it may feel like this daunting task that you cannot fulfill, that you cannot complete. Oh, but you can. You can. You can do the thing that he's called you to. He's already made provision to the purpose. That's what he does. That's what he does. The provision has already been made for the things that he's already laid out. I've shared this before, that we live forward, but the story has been written backwards. That's knowing him as Jireh. That's knowing him as the provision, as the one. Everything that you need, he's already given. Even if it's not in your possession yet, it's already there for you. Everything you need to be who he's already created you to be, it's already there. And so while you might be walking forward and you may be coming out, you might be in the birthing place, in the birthing season. You might be feeling the birthing pains and the pangs and the quaking. Everything that you need, the Father has already laid out and given for you. Whether you're just starting out, or as I said, you've already been on this journey and you're tired. and you feel like you can't go on, there's nothing else that you can do, there's more. He's given you all that you need to continue the race, to continue forth. And it won't come without rest. Resting in him. Rest for you and for your soul. I was telling Jason and the kids that, all I want to do today, what I want to give myself today as a Mother's Day gift to myself is rest. That's all I want. Rest in the midst of those, my babies and those who I love, and Jason, our family right here together. I just want to rest. And we will not be able to continue to go forth without that piece of the puzzle. Rest, resting in him, resting in the Father. I don't know who that's for. That's free though. That's for you today. Rest. Nobody can do that for you. There's rest that's found in the Father, but you have to choose to rest in him and give yourself rest. Even Jesus rested. Even he rested. But there's more to do. There's so much more to do. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. But he's calling you out today. He's calling you out to come forth, to arise. There's so much mothering that is needed in the land today. So much mothering, as even as Barak, he wouldn't go into battle without Deborah. And yes, it was counter to culture. A woman? Yes, a woman. Yep, he chose, she was chosen. And she wasn't just a prophetess or just a judge or just a warrior or even a worshiper. Y'all remember her song? Talks about awake, 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 oh Deborah. I believe that song is being released out into the land today. Even as we spent some time this weekend at Fire on the Altar, the theme was awakening. It was no circumstance, no coincidence. Awake, awake. She wasn't just those things. She was also a mother, the mother of Israel. That's what she called herself. A mother. A mother nurtures. A mother gives life. She's a life giver, not a life taker. And there's so much nurturing that is needed right now. So many babies crying out. I see it day in and day out. And we have children ourselves who are at school and who have friends. They're going through so much. They just need to know that they're loved. They're crying out in ways and in things only how they know what's in front of them. When everything they need is right there, it's right there. They just don't know where to find it. So they're waiting for you, mother. They're waiting for you, your mother's heart, to come out and show them and tell them and love on them and point them to the one whose love is limitless, whose love never fails, whose love is unfathomable. We don't know the depths. We don't know the heights of it. They're waiting for us to point them to them, the truth. And it's true in basic form, not all the stuff. Not all the stuff. But just him, his character, who he is. It's showing them that love that we've experienced, that we've encountered, and lavishing that upon them, pointing them to him. The answer to the cry inside of them and inside of you. They're waiting. It's time to come out of the nest. It's time to step out of the uncomfortable. It's time to come forth. As I said, motherhood is, man, it's one of the most beautiful things. It reveals a lot to you about yourself, your strengths, some of your weaknesses, emotions and things that you never even thought possible that you could feel for another human being. It's an amazing thing. So at the birth of you does not stop at the birth of the baby. I'm an only child, but I share my precious mother with so many others. Growing up, that was something I was kind of questionable. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But today, thinking about the precious gift of who she is and all that she embodies, I would be doing a disservice to myself and to so many others if I selfishly tried to keep her all to myself. And that's how he feels about you. He doesn't want you to keep you all to yourself or even just to your babies, for those of you who have children. But there's a nation, there's a generation out here who's waiting. They're waiting for you to come out, to step out. Maybe things have gotten a little overwhelming to the point where a lot of times we forget as mothers about the dreams and the things that he's placed inside of us, the calling along the way. But I'm here to tell you today, it's not too late. It's not too late. It's never too late to allow those things to come forth, to allow them to be rebirthed, resurfaced, awakened within you. And so as I get ready to close out today, I'm speaking to you, mother. The one who may be so overwhelmed and wrapped up and tied into being mother. The mother that maybe you've forgotten about what the Father is calling you to or has shown you. A dream, maybe it's a nonprofit, maybe it's a book, maybe it's just you being you wherever you go. Because we have countless opportunities every day. We encounter people every day. And you never know, that might just be that one who was just waiting to encounter you, what he's placed inside of you, your mother's heart. On that particular day, in that particular moment. So don't even despise or overlook those small, quiet, still times and moments that he presents to us to mother and love on somebody. But our nation, this generation, is in need of mothering, just as Israel was in need of mothering when Deborah came along. So awake. It's time to awaken, to arise. Yes, you, mother. I don't care how old you are listening. I don't care what stage you're at in your life. You're needed. And I want you to make a declaration with me today that you're coming out. Say, I'm coming out. Let's redefine what that means today. I'm coming out. I'm stepping into who I am in him. And maybe you don't know that today, what that looks like or who. So even I encourage you today to let's together make a declaration. You know what? I want to start down the path to that discovery. Because he's here and he's willing. The Father is waiting for you to reveal you to yourself. Beloved you, amazing you, awesome you, loved you, unique you. And so as we get ready to close out, I pray I pray, mothers, that this resonates with your heart, with your very heart's cry, with maybe something that there's something stirring up within you, and that it maybe gives some clarity to it. But the need is great. And only you can do what he's called you to do the way that he's called you to do it. So it might look different, totally different than what anybody before you or anything that you've seen or heard of before, because he's given it to you. And so I pray today, I pray for that mother's heart who's burdened. I pray for that mother who cannot give words to the very cry of her heart. That, Father, you would begin to speak to it, that you would begin to give words to the sound, to the groanings, to maybe even the wailing and the weeping hearts of mothers today. Oh, that you would comfort as only you can comfort. That you, Lord God, that your truth blot out the lies. That lies that maybe, mother, you can't do it. That you're not enough, that you don't have what it takes. That, Father, your truth would shine through. Speak to the hearts of your mothers today. Encourage the hearts of the mothers today, God. To that mother who is grieving today, God. You said you're near to the brokenhearted. Comfort her heart. To that mother who's seeking, and let her encounter the answers, God, that she's looking for in you. To the mother who sees herself as barren, Father, awaken her to the truth of who she is in you. Oh, she's so much more than barren. She's so much more. Allow her to see herself how you see her, and encounter your love in ways unimaginable today, God. Be with your mothers. Be with us, mothers, God. Those of us who set out to do, Lord God, and step into the places that you called us to be what you called us to be in the midst of our homes and our families, in our marriages, in our lives. Be with us, God. Encourage us. Strengthen us, God. Remind us that in our weakness, your strength is made perfect, and that your perfect love casts out all fear. For those mothers who are succumbed with fear today, remind them of that today, God. And are those who are celebrating their moms are not here physically to be with them today, be with them also. Be with them also, God. Touch them. Hold them up. Give them what they need today and in the days ahead, as only you can. We thank you. We love you, and we bless you in Jesus' name. Wow, I think each and every one of you have spent this time with us this morning or this afternoon. Maybe you're watching the replay. I don't know. But happy Mother's Day to you, mothers. Those of you who are celebrating with your mothers, love on them. Show them your appreciation. Those of you who are spending time together just as family, and your moms, your grandmothers, I even salute and honor mine who have already gone on. Celebrate them today. Honor them today. Carve out some space to do that. We love you here at Dream Movement. Thank you for tuning in. Bless you all. We'll be back here next Sunday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And we also have some really exciting things coming up that we would love to share with you. We'd love to connect with you and maybe start to embark with you along this journey of, stepping into it, coming out and being all that God created you to be. So reach out. There's some information in our bio. We'll put some information in the comments here if you would like to connect with us, as we would like to connect with you. And as I said, we have some exciting things coming up over the next several weeks and months. We'd love to share with you. Reach out. Bless you all as you spend this Mother's Day together with how you're spending it. Be blessed, and we'll see you all back here soon.